So next up, we get to talk about the newcomers. Some of them are very brand new newcomers. Some of them are only coming back around because it's that time of the year again. So, since we're talking about that time of the year again, it is October. We are in that middle year, so there aren't any elections coming around. But we are in political season, right? October, September, November. It's all the people want to talk about is politics. And it's almost, I guess, one of the joys and the beauties of summer. That you aren't thinking about it as much, right? Like, everybody's on vacation. It's also one of the problems with this country, with this nation, is that we only see it as a sometimes thing when politics is life and it's an everyday thing. But what that means is that this season means that all of my political shows have come back. So The Circus, which is a show I enjoy way too much, right? It comes on Showtime. It's just 4 different political commentators who kind of attack one theme every episode and look at it from 4 different perspectives. But they eat good food, they drink good, and they have good conversation. And I like it so much. Almost like how wrestling gives me like, oh, this is a very cool way to live in the entertainment industry. The Circus does that for politics, for political people. Axios, which is another show I watch on HBO Max, which just came back, does the same exact thing, right? Good interviews, people traveling the world, talking to cool people about the stuff that they enjoy. Jon Stewart is back on Apple TV, and he's doing the same thing. What I really like about Jon Stewart's new show, the problem with Jon Stewart, is that it's bi-weekly. So you know that they're working on it as we're waiting on the next one. And it is pretty much The Daily Show, if evolved, but what Jon Stewart wanted The Daily Show to be. Because what The Daily Show became with Trevor Noah, I'm not going to complain about it. I like it. But it is something that's very different than what The Daily Show used to be. And I don't know if you could have had The Daily Show for what it used to be all the whole time. I don't know if you could have hired somebody else that would have been able to bring that same Jon Stewart feel to it, right? Samantha Bee has Full Frontal on TBS, and she created her show with her own different vibe. Who knows? Vice News Tonight, which has never actually stopped. Vice News Tonight, at one point it was on Vice, at one point it was on HBO, or it was on HBO, then it was on whatever. It jumped around a bunch of different channels. It's been on Vice TV for a while, but who watches Vice TV anymore? So I also brought Vice News Tonight back. Show that I'm really excited to talk about, and we're probably going a little bit long, so maybe I should cut it down. But it's Foundation. It's not cyberpunk. It's space age. I mean, Foundation as a sci-fi story. Most of the sci-fi stories that we see that we've encountered in our lifetime has been inspired by Foundation, and it's such a grand story with so many layers to it, with like almost pretty much 2 completely separate main cast. And knowing what I know about Isaac Asimov, who wrote Foundation, he wasn't so big on different races. But the really cool thing I like about Apple TV and about what most shows are doing right now is that so much of it is focused on black women, and I don't think that most of these characters were written as black women, but it works so well that I don't think about it until after the fact, where I go, hey, I wonder if this in the book was actually written by a black woman, or it was actually supposed to be a black woman. But it does feel regular. It feels normal. And as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing that Foundation is such a big, epic show that I don't even know how to describe it to somebody or how to explain it. Because I mean, really, if you're thinking about the story, it spans over thousands of years. So to give a quick breakdown of what we have seen on screen still only feels like a piece of it. Great work. Great work. Another show that came back into my life in the most beautiful, lovely way is Succession. I guess let's talk about these next 3 shows. They happened in two different weeks, but they're all HBO Max, and they all play back to back with each other. We have Succession at 9 o'clock now. Then we have Insecure at 10 o'clock, and then we have Curb Your Enthusiasm at 10:30 p.m., which are three of HBO's best shows, hands down, just going back to back to each other. HBO just loaded the gun, and it was like, oh, you think you want a Sunday night? You think you want to put something on Sunday night? Nah, I'm murder all ya. It's done. It's done. Succession, smartest, quickest wit show probably on television. As I'm watching it, I'm laughing it, I'm jumping, I'm punching, I'm kicking. It give me that feeling. Good damn writing where it matters what people say. When I watched the second episode yesterday, I was bringing it back like a rap album where I'm like, oh wait, what you said? Oh, let me hear that bar again, and again. Oh, that was fire. That was fuego. Insecure. Gives me the same guttural interaction in a whole different way. I love these characters. I love the first episode, which is one of the most incredible things that it does about the show, is that it's so self-aware that it thinks like, okay, maybe fans are looking at one character and they're only seeing them as a punchline, or they're only seeing them as an archetype in this story, and they go, all right, let's flip the archetype and let's dive into it, let's dip into it. And yesterday's episode was fun, was about Molly, was about Issa, but what they were able to do with Kelly in one episode with the person who kind of becoming the funny character, the town jester, was she acknowledged it, and she was like, is that what the hell y'all all think of me? Do you think of me as a town jester? And to be so self-aware and to be so referential and smart in that way. Great job. This is the final season of it, and I am so happy for Issa. Seeing her production company, Hooray, pop up at the end was a proud moment for me as just a fan. As just somebody who has been watching since the first season. I wasn't with her on her YouTube series, so Insecure was really my way of getting to meet Issa, grow with her, and be excited about her. The last show that we're going to talk about is we're going to go back to Apple TV, and it's a show called Invasion, which is about basically aliens coming to Earth. I've only watched the first 3 episodes. That's all what's been released. One, Apple TV, because I am really just diving into it. There's only a few shows that I've had watched from it, but because I love C, because I'm loving Foundation, every time they drop something new, kind of like HBO Max does, I'm going, okay, let me give it a shot. Invasion, the really cool thing about it is that it's telling the story of aliens, I believe, coming to Earth with the name like Invasion, but it's telling it really slowly, like almost in real time, where it kind of feels like you're spending an hour with each of these characters as they're going through it. So by the end of the season, we may not really know what's going on. Either that or episode 4, which they do with a lot of shows, they're just gonna jump and speed right into it. But I'm down for the ride. There's a character on it, a husband who is a fuck nigga, man. He's the worst guy in the world. And I hope that the reason why they're writing him as such a piece of shit is because he's gonna die. And it's gonna be glorious. And what a sick sentence for a human being to say. Even though I'm talking about a fictional character. What a sick sentence. And then rounding up all of the shows to talk about Last Week Tonight is back with John Oliver. Jesus and Meryl are back. You know, those are just shows that, actually, let me not say those are just shows. Last Week Tonight is a show where I get good comedy, but also good informative information. Sometimes about things I already know about and getting a deeper dive. Sometimes about things I don't know anything about. And Jesus and Meryl just feels like I'm hanging with my niggas. And I'm happy for them. I'm proud of them.